I was genuinely ready for Malice. The trailer promised a nasty, sun-drenched psychological thriller, the kind of premium television that makes you feel both superior for watching and mildly guilty for enjoying the misery of the ultra-rich. I mean, let's be honest, anytime you pair an established screen legend like David Duchovny with a British comedic talent like Jake Whitehall, who portrays Adam the Manny, you've basically created catnip for anyone who still uses their TV primarily for escaping reality. The pitch is irresistible. A disgruntled Manny slithers his way into the gilded life of a venture capitalist shark and his elegant but troubled wife for some good, old-fashioned, family-destroying revenge. I was strapped in and ready for the tension to make my teeth hurt. But here's the thing, and I'm going to say it right up front. This show had a killer blueprint, then someone dropped that blueprint into a blender set to chop, and the result is a gloriously messy, deeply frustrating yet weirdly compulsive watch. The key problem is that Malice forgets the fundamental rules of the psychological thriller genre. It hits the ground running and immediately spoils its own surprise, laying out the death of the patriarch within the first 5 minutes. By revealing the endgame, the series tries to shift the focus from a who to a why, which is fine, but it does so without building a convincing engine for the how. Instead of creating genuine suspense, the entire 6-episode run becomes a parade of increasingly insane gimmicks. I spent half the time staring at the screen, genuinely bewildered that a family smart enough to amass this kind of wealth and live in those incredible Greek villas couldn't spot the villain if he was wearing a flashing neon sign that said, "I'm here to poison your dog." The show is subtle as a brick through a window, and Adam's motivations, while tragic and revenge-driven, are presented with so much heavy-handed exposition that it actually hurts. If you don't believe me, let me tell you about the dialogue. It's not exactly what you'd call natural. At one point, a character launches into a 5-minute college lecture about Zeus, Nemesis, revenge, and retribution. I wanted to crawl through the screen and whisper, "Dude, we get it. He's the god of revenge. Now let's go back to scheming, please." Every emotional beat feels telegraphed. Every private moment shared with the many feels forced. It's less like a slow, arterial bleed and more like a series of cartoonish explosions. Now about the pacing. This is where the show gets complicated. Even with all the structural flaws, I have to admit, it's highly addictive. The momentum is undeniable. Every episode ends on a desperate, trashy cliffhanger that makes you hit next episode faster than I hit the snooze button on a Monday. It's a rush of pure plot, burning through events at a clip that doesn't give you time to stop and ask, wait, why did Jamie go from distrusting this guy to wholeheartedly vouching for him in a single scene? You just have to look past the glaring lack of credibility and enjoy the scenic route to inevitable disaster. This brings me to the acting. David Duchovny as the casually selfish chauvinist venture capitalist Jamie Tanner is having an absolute field day. To say the least, he is a convincing, offensive, self-satisfied rich guy. He relishes playing the privileged dirtbag, but he threads the needle by allowing tiny slivers of pathetic authenticity to show through, especially in his strained moments with his kids. He's the perfect target, the kind of villain you love to see crumble. Whitehall, however, is the main event and the main point of contention. He's usually hilarious, but he's stretching here, playing a character who needs to be simultaneously charming enough to fool a sharp-eyed family and menacing enough to murder a pet. He's going for a cold, calculating Tom Ripley, but he's coming off like a rich kid who's hamming it up as a bad guy. When he delivers a menacing glare in private, it's not terrifying. It's more like watching a well-meaning golden retriever try to act tough. The writing failed him. The writers needed him to be brilliant, but they wrote him as a sociopath who constantly gets lucky. On the technical side, this series is pure visual candy. If the script is a wreck, the cinematography is a cruise ship vacation brochure come to life. The show is gorgeous. We get lush vistas, sun-drenched European locations, and enough shots of immaculate Greek architecture and designer homes to fully justify the wealth porn label. Visually, it's a lavish treat. The sound design is professional, atmospheric when it needs to be, but ultimately unremarkable. It gets the job done without creating the chilling, layered feel a real psychological masterpiece would require. Is Malice worthy of your time? Yes, but only under very specific conditions. This isn't a great, nuanced or truly intelligent thriller. It is, however, supremely worthy of being your next binge watch. It's the perfect trashy, crazy escapism for a long flight or a weekend where you need a 6-hour distraction that requires zero mental heavy lifting. If you can accept that the plot has gaping Grand Canyon-sized holes, that the central villain is inexplicably obvious, and that the finale feels rushed and thematically vacant, you will find yourself hooked. You won't marvel at it, you'll just be glued to the screen, wondering what completely insane, unbelievable thing Adam is going to do next. It's the cinematic equivalent of a high-speed car crash in a beautiful Italian sports car. Morally empty, structurally unsound, but you can't look away. Watch it, laugh at the plot holes, and enjoy the beautiful scenery. It's just bad television that happens to be great viewing.